So let's look at the W's of Node.js. So what is Node.js? So Node.js is a JavaScript platform which uses the capability of V8 runtime. Node.js has a very fast event loop model. It is easy to build and as well as scalable. So the building blocks of Node.js is a confluence of three ideas. The JavaScript rich support, the rich JavaScript user base that we already have, the high performance of the V8 engine, so the Google Chrome basically runs off this engine. And as well as the third is the system abstraction which follows from Unix. So essentially JavaScript rising popularity has brought a lot of changes. We are talking about running JavaScript on the server, client, and as well as in the form of JSON over the network. Right? This would have been hard to imagine a few years back. Right? So now let's look at why Node.js. So the event-driven model that has a fast event loop does not allow latency bubbles to propagate orthogonally. So as you can see, it's a non-blocking I/O. So we will look at in the next few slides what do each one of this mean. The event-driven term, the non-blocking versus a blocking model. Node is extremely good to handle load, and as well as building real-time applications is pretty easy with Node.js. Using the power of WebSockets. So let's look at a simple example on non-blocking model of Node.js. So as you can see on the screen, we have, well, for now you can ignore the first line there, and essentially you can focus on console.log file is read. So you have just an alert statement there, and then you have another alert outside the function which is console.log next operation. So in the generic synchronous world of programming, right, so you would always expect file is read to be displayed first and followed by next operation. Whereas in async programming like this, let's say you have an operation to the database. You're connecting to a database and you have to fetch a large amount of data. So the user is blocked until this data is got back, right? So in the case of Node, it is possible to start the communication and then perform processing that does not require the I/O be completed. So what you see the output is essentially next operation and file is read. So you could do other processing that does not need your I/O to be completed, which is the power of a non-blocking model, right? So let's look at the next example of WebSockets, right? So server-side pushing can be done with ease with Node.js. So let us look at a simple a chat application, a very simple chat application with Node. I'm just pulling up my browser and I'm launching a test application on localhost 3000. Right? So let's say the first user is Naveen, and I'm bringing up another instance of the browser. Just give me a minute. You should see it in a few minutes. So just going to launch two versions of this. Right? So in the first, let me have a user called maybe you see, you're basically connected and you have Prabhu as well connected here. So let's say I'm going to type in from the first browser. I'm switching to the browsers. I'm typing from the first browser, hi Prabhu. I'm just simulating a simple chat application, but with Node.js, and the code is pretty straightforward and simple. That's the objective of the demo. So I just type in something, I switch to the other browser, and you see what I have typed here. And let's say it says hi Naveen, and you see hi Naveen on the other side. So let's say I close, Prabhu's chat window, right? So as I'm here, let's say I'm closing Prabhu's chat window. So you would see, okay, that was actually Naveen. So Naveen has disconnected. So essentially, I'm trying to simulate a chat application. So what we're looking at is a capability provided by Node.js to provide server-side pushing. So this concept can be implemented into multiple areas, right? So if you're looking at trending modules, if you're looking at what is being searched right now, you have multiple use cases, so stock applications. So the concept is pretty powerful. And you absolutely see that there is no delays. This is further extended into building, apps for real-time monitoring to get the, the website traffic and stuff like that. So this simple concept is actually elaborated to a whole lot of products. So the protocols supported by Node.js are HTTP and TCP. So the example on the right side is a HTTP server created. So the Hello World example, we saw a plain vanilla server created. In this particular example, we see, the server launched with the Express, a web framework, a middleware, where we'll talk about more in the coming slides. So all it takes to create a server using Express.js is just, the line that you see here. HTTP create server app, listen, app.get off port, and you're set. So let's see what are the different facets that help